So, the Champions League is back. Les Champions is back. The best competition in world football is finally back. And hold on a minute, let me just adjust my camera because this is a bit shaky. Yeah. Anyways, the best competition is back. So, we're going to be looking at the quarterfinals, mainly the first leg. I'm not going to be doing a second leg prediction, but we're going to be predicting the first leg of how I think these ties will play out. They play midweek, checking out all the ties. And honestly, before we get into the predictions, I have to say one thing. These ties are probably one of the best we've seen in a long time. After those horrible and dead round of 16 ties that we received, the quarterfinals has definitely lived up to the hype of the Champions League and given us an absolute blessing in the best ties we've ever seen in a long time. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into the first leg predictions of the Champions League quarterfinals. So, the first game we have is Atletico Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. And honestly, this is probably the one tie I won't be watching at all. Because really, I know one thing for sure going into this game. I know Atletico Madrid will absolutely stink out the place. Stink out the place. Bus parked in front of the goal. And that will be it for 90 minutes. So really, I'm not expecting anything from this game. That's why I'm not watching this game. But I think going into this Champions League quarterfinals, I think Dortmund was the team that everyone wanted. Because, again, no disrespect to Dortmund. They're a fantastic team. But on paper, they're probably the weakest compared to all the other 8 teams. So I think Dortmund was the team that everyone wanted. And Atletico got lucky with the draw. So I think Simeone will be fancying his chances against this Dortmund team. Because, let's be serious, Atletico Madrid, paper to paper, are the much better team. Again, Dortmund have some quality players. They have some very nice players. But I don't think they can match the quality of Atletico Madrid. As well, Atletico Madrid knocked out, I'd say, probably one of the dark horses that I put, Inter Milan. So they definitely are a team that are not a pushover. We know Simeone has the Champions League history. We all know that he's known for pulling up upsets. We all know that he's known for doing well in the Champions League. And I think seeing Dortmund, he will be fancying his chances. The first leg being in Madrid, I think Atletico will win because I know Atletico away from home have been kind of suspect, but when they're at home, there's no doubt they're winning the game. So with this, I'm going to go a 2-0 win for Atletico Madrid. I don't think Dortmund will be able to compete in terms of quality when it comes to Atletico. I think quality will help get Atletico over the line. I think Dortmund will play some decent brand of football, but at the end, I think the quality of Atletico will be a bit too much for Dortmund. So 2-0 at the Metropolitano. So the next game we have is a big game. A big game. These two are starting to build a bit of a Champions League history. PSG, Barcelona. These two have probably played each other a lot. You know, we all know there's been iconic games every time these two played. Obviously, in 2021 when PSG absolutely slapped up and dominated Barcelona at the Camp Nou. But the biggest one being in 2017, the whole remontada, the 6-1, when Emery absolutely bottled it. That was incredible. Honestly, that was incredible. And I don't think we'll see that again. Don't get me wrong. As a neutral, I'd love to see that. But I don't think we'd see that again. I think both these teams won't be able to pull that off. But honestly, this is a tough game to predict because Barcelona this season haven't been the same compared to what they were last season. Obviously, last season they were brilliant. Barcelona played some beautiful football under Xavi. They won the league. In the Europa League, well, actually, they didn't do anything in the Europa League, honestly, because they got knocked out early. But still, they had a really good season. They won La Liga. They played some really good football. Players were on top form. Going into this season, everyone thought they'd kind of take it up a notch, but they've kind of disappointed a bit. You know, they haven't really looked that convincing. Obviously, Xavi is leaving the club, and honestly, one thing I will say though is after Xavi announced that announcement that he's leaving the club, Barcelona have started to kind of turn the tide. So I guess they're in a really good momentum as well right now, Barcelona. But PSG, on the other hand, I have really not been convinced with. Honestly, yes, I know they lost Neymar and Messi, which is a big loss. And they still have Mbappe in the team. However, they haven't looked that convincing. They bought in new manager Luis Enrique in the summer, and his system, I guess you could say, doesn't really fit the PSG players. You know, if you actually watch PSG play, they don't look like they're actually following the system. The players kind of look half confused half the time, especially against Sociedad in the round of 16 game. I thought Sociedad were the better team. Sociedad had the ball, they were popping it about, they're creating chances. The only reason PSG won that game was, again, quality. When you have Mbappe in your team, anything could happen. That guy is ridiculous, but I think quality got them through, and I don't think it'll help them this time. But PSG as well, even in the Champions League group stage, they were put in a group of death, and they honestly, they should have been knocked out. They got absolutely battered by Newcastle. They lost to Milan. I think they lost to Dortmund as well. And I think they just about made it through PSG. So they're lucky to even be in the quarterfinals, honestly. I think they've been kind of scraping their way through, but I think this game will expose them. I don't know who to go with really, because both teams haven't really been that convincing, but Barcelona have kind of started turning the corner, and PSG in Ligue 1, in a league that they should be dominating, have been kind of dropping points against weaker teams, really. So I'm gonna go with a Barcelona win. I think the Champions League heritage, the history, will help them get through, and not just that as well. I think Barcelona's recent form will also help them get through because Barcelona have been picking up wins lately. You can't deny that. So I think that will help them get through. I think PSG will have another slip up, I guess you could say. But honestly, I'm not convinced with PSG. I'm really not. I can't put PSG getting past Barcelona, and I have a feeling Barcelona will get the win. So with the first leg being in Paris, I'm gonna go for 2-1, 2-1 Barcelona, 2-1 Barcelona, and then second leg Barcelona will absolutely clean up in the Camp Nou with PSG. So I think Barcelona will go through. I think they'll beat PSG. Because honestly, PSG are not convincing at all. And they are known for bottling in the Champions League. And I think they will bottle again this time. So I'm going to go Barcelona. The third game we have, Arsenal, Bayern Munich. What a game. What an absolute game. I have to say that first and foremost. We all remember what happened last time those two played each other. Back in, I think, 2017. The 10-2. The iconic AFTV moments that game delivered us. It will be remembered in history. But honestly, fast forward to 2024, and both these teams are in completely different boats. Arsenal are a completely different team compared to what they were back in 2017. New manager, completely new players, new football, everything, I think Arsenal, I have to give credit to Arteta, what he's done to that Arsenal team, the rebuild. And I remember when he first took over, they're just complete bums in that Arsenal team. There's so many bums in that Arsenal team, and he got rid of them and bought in some quality players and got them playing some decent brand of football. And now they're top of the league in the Premier League. And they're in the Champions League quarterfinals against a Bayern Munich team that is struggling, really. A Bayern Munich team that has lost its identity, really. Every time you hear Bayern Munich, you think of a team that's dominant. Every time a team drew Bayern Munich in the Champions League, they'd be like, oh shit, Bayern Munich. Because they had that fear factor. The fear factor was there at Bayern, that they'd dominate you. They'd absolutely slap you off the park. But this season, the fear factor's gone. Thomas Tuchel, what has he done with that Bayern Munich team? They look like the complete shadow of the team they were, compared to even a few years ago when they won the treble with Hansi Flick. If you actually watch Bayern Munich play this season, they look clueless. The players look like they don't want to play for the manager. The tactics are all over the place. The players have no idea what they're doing in the system. Player fallouts are happening. Tuchel on the touchline screaming like an absolute maniac. It's a whole mess right now at Bayern Munich. And on top of that too, they're 16 points behind Leverkusen now. So if Leverkusen win next week, they'll win the Bundesliga. So Bayern Munich right now are in a complete crisis. And I think Arsenal will take advantage of that crisis. I know people will say like, oh, it's Bayern Munich. Oh, it's Bayern Munich. They have the Champions League history. Oh, but listen, honestly, I don't think the Champions League history is saving them this time. Really, I don't think it is. Because this Bayern Munich team is not beating Arsenal. I'm sorry. Like, even though I want Arsenal to lose, I don't see it happening. I don't see Bayern Munich beating Arsenal. Bayern Munich are a complete dead team right now. Again, I know anything can happen when you have Harry Kane in your team, but really, I don't see Arsenal bottling this. Really, I don't. But it'd be funny if they did, but I don't see it happening. So with this, the first leg being at the Emirates, I'm going to go for 3-1 win for Arsenal. 3-1. And I think Arsenal should be cruising into the semifinals with this. Bayern Munich are just in a complete crisis. I don't see them beating Arsenal. And lastly, the biggest game of the quarterfinals. Again, these two are also starting to build a bit of a history playing each other in the Champions League. Manchester City, Real Madrid. Obviously, last season in the semifinals, we all know what happened. Manchester City completely dog-walked Real Madrid. I remember that game ending 4-0, and I don't even think Real Madrid even had a shot on goal. Ederson, I think, had nothing to do in that game. He was a spectator. And honestly, that was probably the most dominant games of football I've ever seen in a long time. Real Madrid would look like Manchester City made Real Madrid look like some under-17 team. Literally. But this season, fast forwarded a year from then, both the teams are in different boats. Real Madrid this season look better, they're top of La Liga. It looks like they're en route to win that. Jude Bellingham, that guy's been on an absolute flame since he's joined Real Madrid. Tchouaméni's getting better. Camavinga's getting better. Vini, Rodrigo, they're all improving as well. Defensively, they've been really good. Rudiger, who's probably been Real Madrid's player of the season, he's been really good as well. So it's an upward spiral right now for Real Madrid. But City, on the other hand, it's kind of a downward. Because honestly, ever since they won the treble, they just haven't looked the same. Obviously, their summer transfer window, I guess you could say, was very questionable. They got rid of Gundogan, which was a huge loss for them. Crucial player, crucial for Pep's tactics, crucial for helping them win the treble. And they didn't replace them. They bought in Mateus Nunes and Kovacic, two good players, but not on the level of Gundogan, not as important to Pep's tactics that Gundogan was. Doku, a bit of a questionable signing. Vardio was a good signing. I like Vardio, but honestly, City don't look good because you could clearly see the way they play that they missed Gundogan. Gundogan has left a big gap in the City midfield that none of the current players are able to replace, and they're missing him. Erling Haaland, he's, I guess you could say, kind of been found out because if that guy's not getting chances, he's completely useless. And I think Ancelotti will be looking at this like, okay, if we could just find a way to neutralize the source, De Bruyne, then we could neutralize Haaland. Because if Haaland's not getting chances from De Bruyne, he's not doing anything. So I think Real Madrid will use their physicality and their energy to try to neutralize the City midfield and try to eliminate Haaland and De Bruyne out of the game. If they could do this, Real Madrid have a chance. They do. I think Ancelotti will be looking at this like, all right, if we could just get this nailed down, we could win. Because when City played Liverpool a couple weeks ago, Liverpool did that to an absolute T. They neutralized the City midfield. They eliminated Haaland and De Bruyne out of the game. And really, Liverpool should have won that game, honestly. I don't know how they drew, but they should have won that game. And you could clearly see that City had no clue what to do against Liverpool. Because Liverpool's tactics was absolutely spot on. And I think Ancelotti will be looking at that game. Like, when Liverpool played City, he'll be looking at what they did, and he'll be trying to bring that into this game. And honestly, I think Ancelotti being the manager he is, Real Madrid being the team that they are, I think they'll be able to pull this off. I think they'll go into this game, players like Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde especially, they'll be absolutely pressing the City midfield. They'll be pressing the City midfield, trying to eliminate them, trying to eliminate De Bruyne. And then Rudiger and Alaba, these guys using their physicality and experience getting rid of Haaland. And with this, I do think the tactics will work. I think Real Madrid will win the first leg. At the Bernabeu especially, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Real Madrid. I don't think City will win. I don't think they'll go through either, but I don't think City will win this game at the Bernabeu especially. I think I'm going to go for 2-1 Real Madrid. So yeah, 2-1 Real Madrid. I think Ancelotti will have a tactical game plan and it will work to a T. So that's a wrap for this prediction video of the first legs. And again, they're just predictions. You may have a different opinion. I may have a different opinion. It is what it is. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when the games eventually roll out midweek live in front of our eyes and we get to see all the action play out. The games could end 0-0 or the games could end 5-0 for every team. Who knows? Hopefully they end 5-0 for every team. But that's all for this video, I guess. Just a little prediction on what I think will happen this week in the Champions League round of quarterfinals, first leg. But that's all for now. If you enjoyed the video, smash the subscribe button, help the channel grow, help your boy out. If you have any other video ideas for me as well related to football or whatever, let me know in the comments. I'm always checking through it. But that's all for now. That's all for your boy today. Take care for now.